It's the book of 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 15. But as he which hath called you is holy, so be holy in all manner of conversation. Because it is written, verse 16, be holy, for I am holy. Shalom, all glorification, honor, and praise is going out to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, along with the bishops, was Aquanium, who rule and teach the church well. Salutations to the elect of Israel, the Baashadawadah, the house of David. Just getting into a quick hitter, going into 1 Peter's, the first chapter. Reading verses 15 right down to verse 19. Okay. On this Day of Atonement. Matter of fact, we're about to wrap up the Day of Atonement. The sun's going to be setting here, well, in about half an hour, I guess. So, Lord willing, you Akiyam and men out there doing the work. Starting with the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the bishops and elders, of course. First and foremost, had a blessed Day of Atonement. Peaceful, restful day. A time, and a time, and a blessed time, reflecting and meditating, on what Yahawashi did and how he atoned for Israel's sins, and what it cost him to do that. All right, which we're going to read about here in 1 Peter's 1. All right, so I'm going to pick it up in verse 17. Oh, by the way, let me make a... Well, first of all, let's go to the first couple of verses here to prove the Apostle Peter, who is King David, come back, Malak Dawadah, and the reincarnation or the regeneration, for those of you with ears to hear, and for those of you who can receive it. Because Yahawashi gave Peter the keys to the kingdom. King David's going to sit on the throne. All right, so Peter, the Apostle Peter, was Malak Dawadah, King David, come back. All right, 1 Peter's 1 and 1, right? Peter, an apostle of, now the IUIC would say the J word there, earth pig. All right, Peter, an apostle of Yahawashi, Hamasiach, okay? Not JC. All right. To the strangers scattered throughout Pontus, Galatia, Cappadocia, Asia, and Bithynia. Okay, the strangers scattered, right? Elect according to the foreknowledge of Yahweh the Father through the sanctification of the Spirit unto obedience and sprinkling of the blood. All right, of Yahawashi Mashiach, grace unto you and peace be multiplied. So Paul's writing to the Israelites who were scattered. All right, not everybody. All right, so got to get that out of the way first. All right, let's go to 1 Peter's 1 and 17. Right. Oh no, Slaki, forgive me. Verse 16, right, where it says, "Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy." The Apostle Paul is quoting what? Leviticus 11 and 44. All right. You Israelites, are you so-called black, so-called, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians are supposed to be holy. You were set up to be a holy people, right? Quadash people, separate from the nations, special, set apart. That's what holiness means, right? So the Old Testament author, or it's like the New Testament authors were quoting the Old Testament authors, right? Because you'll read a lot in the New Testament. It is written, or it was said, all right? Because it is written, they're hearkening back, man. Because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. That's why the men of Great Millstone and her affiliate camps, all right, observe the Day of Atonement today, all right? Because we're seeking to be holy and set apart and different. That's why we keep the dietary laws. Now, do we do everything perfectly, as in, the Sabbath perfectly and the Passover perfectly? No, we can't do everything perfect. All right, because this is not our kingdom. This is Esau's kingdom. right? But we, to the best of our ability, we observe these days and remember these days because, this is a high day according to the Bible, according to the law. All right, Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, goes into the high days of the Lord. All right. All right, verse 17, 1 Peter 1, verse 17. And if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. And that's how we're supposed to be living in America, in Babylon the Great. We're supposed to be, all right, passing the time of this sojourning, all right, here in fear, okay? Because again, this is the devil's kingdom, man. All right, this is Satan's kingdom. This is the devil's world. All right, this is his construct. So, that's how we're supposed to be, operating in a spirit of, we're fearing the Lord first and foremost. Okay, that's what it's talking about. We stay fearing the Lord, all right, and pray for his covering here. Okay. All right, verse 18. For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things. I mean, redemption is for the nation of Israel, man, beginning with the elect. All right, the 144,000 is servants, the prophets. Okay, and the rest of the remnant. The men, women, and children, believers, those who believe the testimony of the prophets, right? That's who redemption is for. For as much as ye know that ye were not redeemed with corruptible things, as silver, right, and gold from your vain conversation received by tradition from your fathers. And this is the point in verse 19. But with the precious blood of Hamashiach, all right, the Messiah, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. So that's how we, Lord willing, these scriptures are applying to us right now. All right, as of September 12, 2024, the hopeful year of Jacob's trouble, as we wrap up the Day of Atonement, Lord willing, this is applied to us, man. Okay? But what covers our sins, right, is the blood of Yahawashi. Okay? Let that sink in, man. Yahawashi had to spill his blood, man. It cost him his blood. That in itself ought to cause us to tremble in fear. The Messiah came down to earth as a man and took all that on himself, for his sheep. It's heavy, man. But with the verse 19 again, 1 Peter chapter 1 and verse 19. But with the precious blood of Hamashiach, as of a lamb without blemish and without spot. Right, because on earth as Yahawashi, he didn't trespass the law of such commandments. He didn't commit no sin. He walked the earth perfectly. So he didn't do nothing to deserve that, man. As Yahawashi, but he did go off as Adam. He went off as Solomon. Once again, this is only for the elect, this teaching, because you got to be able to receive that, But as Yahawashi, he didn't sin. All right. Let's go to Romans the 5th chapter. This is the book of Romans, chapter 5 and verse 8. But Yahweh commendeth his love towards us, in that while we were yet sinners. Now, once again, we got to establish who this is written to, right? We go over these things all the time, but Paul's not writing to the Romans as in the Edomites, as in the so-called white man. He's writing to Israelites who were dwelling in Rome. Okay? So these promises and all these scriptures are applying to the elect. Once again, right now, the elect to Israel. The Lord's only dealing with the elect lambs right now. He's not dealing with all of Israel. All right? It's a lot. The book of Romans chapter 5 verse 8. But Yahweh commendeth his love toward us, right? Because he only loves his people. And that while we were yet sinners, Hamashiach died for us. Much more then, being now justified by his blood. That's how we're justified, man. Not in our ability to keep the laws. We strive to keep the laws because we believe in the Lord. Right? We believe his word. So we seek to establish the law. Okay, that's written in Romans, the book of Romans, the 3rd chapter, and the 31st verse, right? We don't void out the law because we believe. We establish the law because we believe, right? Again, that's why we're observing this day, right, the Day of Atonement, because we seek to, we believe. All right, it says, verse 9, much more than being now justified by his blood, we shall be saved from wrath through him. So it says in 1 Thessalonians that I believe that the elect is not appointed to wrath, but to obtain salvation, all right, through Hamashiach Yahawashi. All right, but again, it goes back to, how are we justified? By his blood. How are we redeemed? By his blood. By his blood. Once again, he made the ultimate atonement for Israel's sins. He took on the sins of Israel. All right, and made that payment. Okay, because the scriptures tells you in the book of Hebrews, right, that the blood of bulls and goats could never take away sin. So Yahawashi had to come, man. Okay, Isaiah, the 1st chapter, and I know I'm kind of all over the place, goes into that blood sacrifice was being that Jake's sacrifice was becoming hypocritical, and the Lord was fed up with it. I'm paraphrasing Isaiah, the 1st chapter, but you can go and read that. So Yahweh had a different plan, right? His plan was which was planned out before the foundation of the world. In fact, his plan was to send his only begotten Son to be the Redeemer, man, to make the final atonement, for sin. So just something that was on my spirit. Lord willing, you was edified. All right, with that, I want to say shalom, on to the next video.